Let me take you on a journey, one that begins not with money in your hand, but with a simple, powerful belief deep inside you that you are worthy of financial success. Imagine, for a moment, trying to build a house on sand. No matter how skilled you are, no matter how many bricks you stack or how many hours you put in, that house will never stand firm. It will wobble, it will crack, and eventually it will collapse. That's exactly what happens when you try to build your financial life without first believing you deserve success. Your foundation is weak, and everything else you try to create will struggle to hold. Worthy. It's a word so small yet so mighty. But many people stumble here. They don't realize that deep down, somewhere inside, they might carry a voice whispering, "I'm not enough, I don't deserve this, or I'll never be rich." That voice, no matter how quiet, acts like a shadow, silently shaping every decision, every hesitation, every opportunity you pass by. If you don't believe you're worthy, you unknowingly put up walls around yourself. Walls so tall that the good things you want, the chances you dream about, simply bounce off and disappear. Think about a magnet. If you hold a magnet and bring it close to metal, the two connect. The stronger the magnet, the stronger the pull. Now, imagine that your belief in your worthiness is that magnet. If you believe deep down that you're not worthy, the magnet becomes weak. You barely attract anything, and opportunities slide right off you, as if they were repelled instead of attracted. You might meet people who could help you, hear about deals that could change your life, or stumble on ideas that could lead to wealth. But somehow, none of it sticks. That's the hidden power of worthiness, or the lack of it. I want you to picture flipping a switch inside your mind, from "I'm not worthy" to "I am worthy." It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, things become visible. Suddenly, the magnet inside you grows stronger, pulling people, ideas, and opportunities closer. Doors you didn't even notice start to open. People want to talk to you, to collaborate, to invest their time and resources in you, because your energy shifts. You walk with a confidence that says, "I belong here." Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a graphic designer working a steady job, but barely making ends meet. She believed in her skills, but carried this silent voice telling her she wasn't worthy of charging higher prices or landing bigger clients. For years, she stayed in her comfort zone, afraid to ask for more or take risks. Then one day, she started saying every morning, "I am worthy of financial success." At first, it felt strange, almost like pretending. But slowly, her mindset shifted. She stopped apologizing for her prices. She started pitching boldly to clients she once thought were out of reach. Within months, her income doubled, not because the work changed, but because her belief in her worthiness unlocked doors she didn't even know existed. Or take the story of Marcus, a young entrepreneur from a small town. Marcus grew up in a family where money was always tight. The message he heard was clear. Money is for others, not for people like us. When Marcus tried to start his own business, he struggled with self-doubt and fear. Every rejection felt like proof that he wasn't meant to succeed. One morning, after a long night of reading about successful people, Marcus realized that their first step wasn't about skills or luck. It was about believing they deserved success. He began each day affirming, "I am worthy of financial success." Over time, this belief fueled resilience. When investors said no, he didn't quit. When client hesitated, he didn't shrink back. He saw setbacks as stepping stones, because he knew deep inside that his worth wasn't tied to failure. Today, Marcus runs a thriving company, and he credits his breakthrough to that simple truth he declared every morning. You see, worthiness isn't just about feeling good or having high self-esteem. It's a practical, active force that shapes your reality. It changes how you negotiate, how you market yourself, how you approach challenges. When you believe you are worthy, you naturally make choices that align with that belief. You ask for what you deserve. You refuse to settle for less. You step into rooms where you once felt invisible. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine waking up each morning feeling calm, confident, and in charge. Not because your bank account is overflowing or you have a huge paycheck waiting, but because you have something far more valuable: control. Control over your money, rather than money controlling you. This is the kind of freedom most people dream of but never quite grasp, because they let their money become the master of their lives. Instead of being a tool that serves them, money becomes an unseen dictator, ruling every decision, every worry, every sleepless night. Think about how many people you know, or maybe yourself, have felt the heavy weight of bills piling up, credit card debt stacking higher, and that crushing feeling when the next paycheck barely covers essentials. It's like being stuck in quicksand, sinking deeper with every expense, unable to pull free. That feeling is real, and it's terrifying. But here's the secret. Money is not the monster you think it is. It's a tool. Just like a hammer can build a house or destroy one, money works the same way depending on how you handle it. Picture your money as a loyal worker. If you treat it like a wild beast running loose, it will throw chaos in your life. But if you step up and say, "You will work for me," suddenly everything changes. Imagine telling your bills and debts, "You will not run my life. I am in charge." Saying this is not just words. It's a declaration of power. It shifts your mindset from fear to control, from anxiety to action. I want you to imagine a captain on a ship. The sea is rough, the storm is fierce, and waves crash from every direction. If the captain lets the storm steer the ship, it will drift, crash, and sink. But if the captain takes the wheel firmly, charts the course, and steers with confidence, the ship will reach calm waters. That captain is you, and your money is the sea. You decide the direction. Let me tell you about David. David was drowning in debt. Credit cards, loans, late fees. It felt like a never-ending nightmare. Every month was a scramble, anxiety gnawing at him as he watched his balance shrink while his bills grew. One day, he realized that he had been letting his money control him, that he was living paycheck to paycheck with no plan. It was exhausting and hopeless. Then, David made a choice. He said, "I control my money. My money does not control me." It was simple, but powerful. He started tracking every dollar that came in and out, creating a budget that didn't feel like a prison but a roadmap. Slowly, he paid down debts, saved a little, and began investing small amounts. Each step was a victory. David's story reminds us that control isn't about having a fortune. It's about mastering what you have. When you control your money, budgeting stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like empowerment. Think about it. If you don't know where your money goes, it's like driving blindfolded. You crash into surprises, unexpected expenses, overdraft fees, missed payments. But with control comes clarity. You see every expense, every dollar, and you decide where it should go. You prioritize what matters. Rent, food, and bills get paid on time. Then you decide how much to save, how much to invest, how much to enjoy. You're not a slave to your paycheck. You're the master of your financial destiny. Here's a truth many don't realize. Controlling your money doesn't mean living a life of sacrifice or scarcity. It means making intentional choices. It means knowing that when you spend on something, it's because you chose it, not because you had no other option. Imagine the peace that comes from knowing your spending aligns with your values, your goals, your dreams. Think about Lisa, a single mother juggling 2 jobs. She didn't have much, but she was determined not to let money control her life. Instead of hiding from her finances, she faced them head on. She created a budget, cut unnecessary expenses, and started a small emergency fund. When unexpected expenses came, instead of panic, she planned how to handle them. Lisa's journey wasn't easy, but because she controlled her money, she gained confidence. She no longer felt like a victim of circumstance, but like the author of her story. There's a famous quote by Dave Ramsey, a financial expert who helped millions. "You must gain control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you." These words ring true for anyone who has felt trapped by bills, debt, or uncertainty. Control means knowing where your money is going before the month begins, having a plan to pay off debt, and making your money work for you instead of against you. Imagine for a moment that you had a magic wallet. Every dollar, inside it, listened to your commands. You could tell it, "Go pay the rent," or "Save this on my vacation," or "Invest this to grow." Wouldn't that feel incredible? Guess what? Budgeting, saving, and investing are the closest real-world tools to that magic wallet. When you use them with intention, your money begins to follow your lead. Sometimes People think investing is only for the wealthy or budgeting is too complicated. But control starts with mindset, a promise you make to yourself. I will manage my money, no matter how little or how much I have. Even a small step counts. A simple spreadsheet, a savings jar, or a monthly review. These small acts build momentum. Like a snowball rolling downhill, control grows, picking up strength until it becomes unstoppable. Imagine your financial life as a garden. If you let weeds take over, they choke your plants, stealing sunlight and nutrients. But if you tend the garden carefully, pulling weeds, watering regularly, planting seeds, your garden flourishes. Your money is the garden. Control is the care you give it. Without care, debts grow wild, bills multiply, stress takes root. But with care, your money grows into a source of life, of security, of freedom. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when money problems pile up. The bills feel like chains, and you might wonder, will I ever be free? The answer is yes. Freedom begins when you say, I control my money. It's not just a phrase. It's a mindset that turns fear into power, confusion into clarity, stress into calm. Now, imagine waking up tomorrow and looking at your money with new eyes. Instead of feeling panic, you feel curiosity. You ask, where's my money going? How can I make it work for me? You take out a pen and paper or open an app and you start tracking. You build a simple budget. You see the power you hold. Every dollar becomes a soldier in your army, working to defend your future. Some fight debt, some build savings, some invest in growth. You are the general, giving orders and leading the charge. What if you made this commitment right now? To stop being controlled and start controlling. To treat your money like a tool, not a master. To face your finances with courage, clarity, and confidence. Because when you do, you're not just changing numbers in a bank account. You're changing your life. You're creating a future where money works for you, supporting your dreams, your family, your peace of mind. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but it begins the moment you decide to take the wheel. You will face challenges, temptations to slip back into old habits. But each time you remind yourself, I control my money does not control me, you reinforce your power. You break chains, build confidence, and open doors. Money is a tool. How you use it determines your life. Will you let it rule you, or will you master it? The choice is yours. Picture this. You're standing in a marketplace, holding a single basket. Inside are all your eggs. They represent your income, your financial security, your way of providing for yourself and your family. You guard that basket with your life because if anything happens, if you trip, if someone bumps into you, if the basket breaks, you lose it all. That's what relying on one paycheck is like. One job, one source of income, one stream keeping your financial life afloat. The moment something happens to it, layoffs, company downsizing, illness, market shifts, it can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. You're left scrambling, stressed, and wondering how you'll survive. Now, imagine instead that you're walking through that same marketplace carrying not one, but 5 smaller baskets. If one slips, you still have 4 others. If one gets damaged, the others keep you steady. That's the power of multiple streams of income. It's not just a nice idea. It's a safety net, a cushion, a source of freedom. When you have more than one way money flows into your life, you move from survival mode to opportunity mode. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. Think of it like a river. A single river can run dry if the source is blocked. But a river fed by multiple streams will keep flowing even if one dries up. Each stream adds strength and stability. That's how your financial life should be. One stream might be your main job. Another could be a side business. Another could be investments. Another skill you. Monetize online. And maybe another from rental income or royalties. The more streams you create, the more resilient you become. Let me tell you about Alex. He was a school teacher and he loved his job. But one summer, the school budget was cut and teachers were asked to take unpaid leave. For many of his colleagues, it was devastating. But Alex had started a side hustle 2 years earlier tutoring students online. He also earned a small income from a YouTube channel where he shared educational videos. And just a year before, he began investing in dividend-paying stocks. So when that paycheck stopped, Alex didn't panic. He simply leaned on the other streams. He still paid his bills, still provided for his family, and even had the freedom to enjoy the extra time without financial fear. He didn't just survive, he thrived. This is the difference between depending on one stream and having many. Relying on one paycheck is like standing on one leg. It might work for a while, but it's not stable. Having multiple streams is like standing firmly on both legs, with extra support if you need it. It's balance, stability, and strength. Some people hear multiple streams of income and immediately think it means working more hours or burning themselves out with extra jobs. But it's not about doing everything at once or exhausting yourself. It's about creating systems, using your skills, and setting up income sources that can grow over time, some of which can even run without your constant effort. Think of writing a book once and earning royalties for years, or creating a digital course that sells while you sleep, or owning a small piece of property that brings in rent month after month. These are streams that don't require constant labor, but continue to flow. I remember hearing a quote from Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. That line hit me like a lightning bolt. Most people spend their entire lives trading time for money, but time is finite. At some point, you either can't or don't want to work the same hours you used to. That's when multiple streams become more than just a safety net. They become your ticket to freedom. Let's talk about mindset, because attracting multiple streams isn't just about finding opportunities. It's about being open to them. Some people are so locked into the belief that their job is their only source of income that they don't even notice the possibilities around them. But when you start telling yourself, I attract multiple streams of income, something shifts. You start noticing opportunities. You hear about a friend who needs help with a project and realize you have the skills. You see a hobby you love could be turned into a small business. You spot a way to invest a little and grow it into more. It's like your mind becomes a magnet for ideas that can flow into your financial life. Let's take Maria, for example. She worked as a nurse and loved her career, but she also had a passion for baking. Every holiday season, she made cakes for her family, and everyone raved about them. One day, someone offered to pay her for one. That sparked an idea. She began selling a few cakes a month, then opened a small online bakery. A year later, that side income helped her pay off debt. Another year after that, she started teaching online baking classes. Before long, Maria had 3 streams: her nursing salary, her bakery sales, and her class income. She didn't plan it all from the start, but because she was open to the idea of multiple streams, she grabbed opportunities when they came. It's not just about the money, it's about security and freedom. When you have more than one source of income, you can take more risks in your main career, invest more in your future, and say yes to experiences without the constant fear of what if I lose my job? You stop living paycheck to paycheck and start living with options. Sometimes people resist this idea because they think it's too late for them or they don't have the right skills. But here's the truth. It's never too late, and everyone has something of value to offer. Maybe you have knowledge others would pay to learn. Maybe you have a skill that's in demand. Maybe you own something that could be rented out. Maybe you can collaborate with others to create something new. The streams don't have to start big. They just have to start. Over time, they grow. Think of your financial life as a tree. The trunk is your main income source. The branches are your additional streams. If one branch breaks, the tree still stands. The more branches you grow, the stronger and more fruitful your tree becomes. But a tree doesn't grow branches overnight. It grows them steadily, season after season. The same is true for your income streams. Start with one new branch, then another, then another. I want you to imagine a future where your income comes from different places. Your job, yes, but also from investments, a small side business, maybe creative work, maybe teaching something you love. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing that even if one source stops, others will keep flowing. Imagine the freedom to take a break, pursue a passion, or invest in a dream, because your income is not tied to one fragile source. When you say, I attract multiple streams of income, you're not just making a statement. You're setting an intention. You're telling your mind to look for opportunities, to be creative, to be bold. You're shifting from a survival mindset to a growth mindset. And once you make that shift, you'll be amazed at how many streams are waiting to be discovered. Imagine walking down a long road toward your financial goals. The sun is shining, the path looks clear, and you feel excited. Then, out of nowhere, you trip on a rock and fall face first into the dirt. It hurts. You're embarrassed. For a moment, you think about turning back. But as you stand up and brush yourself off, you notice something. You now know exactly where that rock is. Next time, you'll step around it. That's what mistakes are. They're not proof that you're failing. They're lessons disguised as obstacles, markers on your path, showing you what to do differently next time. Nobody gets it right the first time. Nobody. We live in a world that often celebrates the end result, but hides the messy, painful, frustrating middle. People see success and think it happened overnight, but they don't see the wrong turns, the rejections, the miscalculations, the sleepless nights. Thomas Edison failed over and over again before creating a light bulb. When asked about it, he didn't talk about failure. He said, "I just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset that transforms mistakes from something that breaks you into something that builds you. Your financial journey will have bumps. You might make a bad investment. You might start a side hustle that doesn't take off. You might overspend, miscalculate, or trust the wrong advice. And when those moments come, you'll face a choice. Will you let them define you, or will you let them refine you? There's a difference. Being defined by a mistake means you carry like a label. I'm bad with money. I'm unlucky. I'm not cut out for this. Being refined by a mistake means you carry the lesson and leave the shame behind. Take Mark, for example. He was excited to start investing and decided to put most of his savings into a friend's can't-lose business idea. Within a year, the business failed and Mark lost almost everything. At first, he was devastated. He told himself he'd never invest again, that he wasn't smart enough for financial growth. But after the sting faded, Mark began to analyze what happened. He realized he hadn't done enough research. He had invested based on emotion, not facts. That lesson became his turning point. The next time he invested, he diversified, did thorough research, and started small. Over time, he built not just wealth, but wisdom. The loss that once felt like the end became the foundation for his future success. The truth is, mistakes are powerful teachers, if you're willing to learn. They strip away illusions, reveal blind spots, and force you to adapt. Think of a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal is heated, hammered, cooled, and shaped over and over again. The blows don't weaken the metal, they strengthen it. In the same way, every financial setback you face can hammer out the weaknesses and shape you into someone sharper, wiser, and stronger. Sometimes, the hardest part of learning from mistakes isn't the mistake itself. It's the emotions that come with it. Shame, frustration, fear, they can cloud your judgment. But here's the shift you need to make. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" start asking, "What can this teach me?" That question changes everything. Suddenly, the mistake becomes a map. It shows you the wrong turn you took and points toward a better route. I think about Sarah, a young woman who started her first job and immediately began spending her paycheck on things she thought would make her happy. Designer clothes, the latest gadgets, fancy dinners. Within months, she was drowning in credit card debt. When the bills piled up, she could have given into the belief that she was bad with money. Instead, she took a financial literacy course, learned how to budget, and created a debt repayment plan. That early mistake taught her discipline, and years later, she became a financial advisor helping others avoid the same trap. Her biggest blunder became her greatest gift to others. The Japanese have a concept called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they highlight them, turning the flaw into something beautiful and unique. Your financial mistakes can be the same. They become part of your story, part of your growth. They don't ruin you. They add value, wisdom, and resilience. Some people spend their whole lives avoiding mistakes, thinking if they never risk, they'll never fail. But avoiding mistakes is just another form of failure. It's the failure to grow, to try, to push past your comfort zone. Every successful person you admire has a trail of mistakes behind them, and they wear those mistakes like badges of honor. They don't hide them. They use them to show others that growth comes from trying, not from being perfect. Think of your financial journey as climbing a mountain. Along the way, you might take a wrong path, lose your footing, or drop something valuable. But each slip teaches you where to step next. Each wrong turn shows you which paths lead nowhere. You don't start at the top. You earn it step by step, mistake by mistake, lesson by lesson. There's a saying I love: fall 7 times, stand up 8. That's not just a nice motivational quote. It's a survival strategy. Life will knock you down. Money will slip through your fingers sometimes. Plans will fall apart. But if you stand up each time, you become harder to knock down. Your resilience grows. Your understanding deepens. And one day, you look back and realize that every mistake, every setback, every so-called failure was actually a stepping stone. When you begin to see mistakes as part of the process, they lose their power to scare you. You stop hesitating out of fear and start moving forward with confidence. You try new things. You take calculated risks. And even when something doesn't work out, you walk away with more than you started: knowledge, experience, perspective. Imagine a world where you never make another mistake. At first, it might sound appealing. No losses, no setbacks, no embarrassment. But look deeper. Without mistakes, there's no learning, no growth, no evolution. You'd stay the same person forever, stuck at the same level, never reaching the heights you're capable of. Mistakes are proof that you're in motion, that you're reaching, that you're alive. So the next time you make a financial misstep, whether it's an impulse purchase you regret, a bad investment, or a missed opportunity, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself what you can take from it. Write it down. Apply it. Let it make you sharper. Let it make you stronger. Because when you learn from your mistakes, you're not moving backward. You're moving forward in disguise. I want you to imagine holding a single coin in your hand. It's small, almost weightless, yet as you look at it, you feel a quiet sense of appreciation. You're not thinking about how little it might seem compared to what you want in the future. You're thinking about how, right now, in this moment, you have something. That tiny coin might not buy much, but your gratitude for it is like planting a seed in the soil of your life. Just like a seed doesn't turn into a tree overnight, your financial growth begins with the smallest moments of appreciation. Gratitude is not just a nice feeling. It's a magnetic force. When you appreciate what's already here, you shift your focus from lack to abundance, and life responds in ways you don't always expect. I've seen people who have very little, yet they radiate joy. They look at their worn wallet, not as a symbol of scarcity, but as a reminder of the times it carried enough to pay for food, shelter, and moments that mattered. One woman told me, "Every time I open my purse, I say thank you, even if it's just for the coins I find inside." And somehow, opportunities kept finding her. An extra shift at work, a neighbor offering her a side job, or a surprise gift from a friend. Gratitude isn't magic in the fairy tale sense, but it changes the energy you carry, and people, circumstances, and even money are drawn to that energy. Think about a farmer. If he only complained about the small crop he harvested this year, he'd have no motivation to plant for the next. But if he stands in his field, feeling thankful for the few baskets of grain he has, he naturally feels inspired to sow more seeds, try new methods, and trust that next season will be better. Your financial life is no different. Every bill you pay is a sign that you had the money to cover it. Every coin in your pocket is proof that money flows to you, even if in small amounts right now. When you see it this way, paying for something becomes an act of gratitude instead of resentment. I remember a man who once told me he changed his entire financial situation by simply blessing every bill he paid. When he handed over money for rent, he'd silently say, "Thank you for this roof over my head." When he paid for groceries, he'd think, "Thank you for this food that nourishes me." It wasn't about ignoring reality. It was about honoring what reality had already given him. Over time, he said his income grew in unexpected ways. Not through sudden luck, but because his mindset kept him open to new ideas, new work, and new ways to serve others. Gratitude is also a powerful antidote to fear. When money feels tight, fear makes you shrink. You stop looking for opportunities, you doubt your abilities, and you cling to what little you have. But gratitude opens your hands instead of closing them. It says, I trust there's more coming. I trust that this is just the beginning. And that trust changes your decisions. You start taking small, brave actions that lead to bigger results. It's like standing on a bridge at night. Fear makes you freeze in the dark, but gratitude lights a lantern so you can take the next step. Picture this. Two people each receive $100. The first one says, it's not enough. I can't do anything with this. The second one says, I'm grateful for this. What's the best way I can? Use it to bring even more into my life. The first person spends the money quickly, barely noticing it. The second invests it, maybe in a course, in supplies for a small project, or even in giving a portion away to help someone else. That small decision, powered by gratitude, often leads to more connections, more trust, and more income down the road. The difference isn't the amount of money they started with, it's the attitude they carried. When you wake up each day and feel grateful for the money in your life, no matter how much it is, you're telling yourself and the world that you're ready for more. You're proving that you can handle what you have now, so you can be trusted with what's coming next. Gratitude is a signal, like a lighthouse, letting abundance know where to land. Without it, you're in the dark, wondering why nothing changes. With it, you're visible, open, and prepared for the opportunities that start appearing. And here's the truth. Money flows to those who respect it. Respect doesn't mean hoarding out of fear. It means recognizing its value and treating it with care. When you're grateful for the $10 bill in your wallet, you're showing that you would treat $10,000 the same way. That respect builds a foundation where more can grow. It's like taking care of a small plant before you're given a garden. You show you can nurture, so life gives you more to nurture. Sometimes, the money we already have feels invisible because we're so focused on what we lack. But if you pause, take a deep breath, and list the ways money has supported you this month, the rent or mortgage paid, the meals enjoyed, the clothes on your back, even the smallest treats, you start to see just how much you've already been given. And in seeing that, you naturally start to expect more, not from a place of greed, but from a place of possibility. Gratitude for your current financial state doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you enjoy the journey while still moving forward. You can be thankful for the modest car you drive today and still feel excited about the luxury car you plan to own one day. You can appreciate the small apartment you live in now while still working toward your dream home. The gratitude fuels your energy. The excitement pulls you forward. Together, they create momentum that changes everything. I've heard people say, I'll be grateful when I have more money. But the truth is, that's like saying, I'll water the plant after it blooms. Gratitude comes first. You water the plant now, even when it's just a sprout, because you know it has the potential to become something incredible. Your financial garden grows the same way. You appreciate the early growth, and that appreciation encourages it to keep growing. Money is not just numbers in a bank account. It's a flow. When you feel grateful, you align yourself with that flow. You notice opportunities you would have missed. You meet people who open doors for you. You find ways to make, save, and invest that feel natural, instead of forced. And each time more money comes in, your gratitude deepens, creating a cycle where abundance feeds on itself. And in that cycle, you stop feeling like money is something you're chasing and start realizing it's something you're attracting. That's the quiet magic of gratitude. It turns what you have into enough, and enough into more than you imagined. You look at your life and think, I have more than I thought. And somehow, that truth keeps becoming real in bigger and bigger ways. And so, each time you hold that single coin, you smile, not because it's all you have, but because it's proof that the flow is already here and the best is still on its way. Imagine waking up in the morning with that quiet determination in your chest, the kind that doesn't roar but whispers, today is the day I move forward. You're not thinking about doubling your savings in a week or paying off every debt in a month. You're not waiting for a lottery ticket or a sudden promotion to rescue you. Instead, you know this truth deep in your bones. A breakthrough isn't a grand leap. It's the sum of countless tiny steps. Think about it like planting a seed. No one plants an apple seed and checks every hour to see if the fruit is ready. They water it, give it sunlight, protect it from pests, and trust the process. Financial growth works the same way. You don't see instant results, but over time, those daily choices compound into something powerful. It's a decision to skip buying coffee out today and put that $5 into savings. It's choosing to watch a 15-minute video on investing instead of scrolling through social media. It's sending that one email to a potential client, even when you don't feel like it. Picture this. There's a woman named Sarah who once told me, "I thought financial stability was a mountain I'd never climb. Then I realized I only had to take one step at a time." On her first day, she opened a notebook and wrote down every expense she could remember from the past week. That's it, just awareness. On the second day, she read one chapter from a book on personal finance. The third day, she downloaded a budgeting app. None of those days made her rich. But after a year of stacking those small actions, she had an emergency fund, no credit card debt, and the confidence to invest for the first time. Small steps are deceptively powerful because they bypass the fear of too much, too fast. If I told you to save $10,000 in the next month, you'd freeze. But if I told you to transfer $3 into savings today, you'd probably shrug and do it. And here's the magic. $3 becomes $6. $6 becomes $12, and the habit begins to build. Consistency, not size, is a true accelerator of progress. I once met a man who started his side hustle in the quiet hours before his family woke up. He didn't overhaul his life overnight. The first day, he researched for 30 minutes. The next, he built a basic website. Day after day, those steps stacked. 2 years later, he had replaced his full-time income. When I asked him the secret, he said, "I never thought about how far I had to go, only about what I could do today." The beauty of this mindset is that it applies to anyone, no matter where you start. If you're drowning in debt, your step today might be calling your credit card company to negotiate a lower interest rate. If you have no savings, it could be putting a single dollar into a jar. If you're already doing well, maybe it's learning one new investment strategy. What matters is that you keep moving. Like a river that doesn't stop because the rocks are big, it simply finds a way around them. And yes, there will be days you feel like your effort is so small it doesn't matter. But here's what I've learned. Momentum doesn't come from big wins. It comes from showing up. It's like the gym. If you've been inactive for months, lifting one dumbbell today won't transform your body, but it breaks the chain of inaction. It plants the seed of habit. One step creates the possibility of the next. The mental shift is profound. Instead of saying, "I'll start when I have more time," or "I'll act when conditions are perfect," you begin asking, "What can I do right now with what I have?" That question is powerful because it removes excuses. There will always be a reason to delay, waiting for your next paycheck, for the kids to get older, for the economy to improve. But those who wait for the perfect moment often find it never arrives. I remember a quote from author James Clear. "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Systems are built in small, repeatable actions. Wanting financial freedom is a goal. Saving $10 every week without fail is a system. And systems, once set in motion, become nearly unstoppable. So, maybe today, your step is to finally log into your bank account and face the numbers you've been avoiding. Maybe it's bringing lunch from home instead of eating out. Maybe it's signing up for that free online course you bookmarked months ago. Each action is a brick. Brick by brick, you are building the life you want. The temptation to compare yourself to others will always be there. You'll see someone who seems light years ahead and feel like your tiny step is pointless. But every successful person you admire has walked the same path, built not on giant leaps, but on thousands of days where they did something small and simple. When you take one step toward your financial goals today, you're not just moving money. You're reshaping your identity. You're becoming the kind of person who acts, who moves forward even when it's slow, who believes that the future is worth building. And once you start thinking of yourself that way, every choice you make begins to align with that vision. The beauty is that one step today leads to another tomorrow, and then another. Before you know it, you're no longer at the starting line. You've built momentum, and momentum is the closest thing to magic in personal growth. Even when progress feels invisible, it's there, quietly compounding, silently working in your favor. And it all starts the moment you say with conviction, "Today, I will take one step toward my financial goals." And so I leave you with this. Your future is not built in a year or in a month or even in a week. It's built in moments, in the quiet choices you make when no one is watching, in the decision to keep going when it would be easier to stop, in the courage to take one more step when you feel like you've already walked far enough. Do not wait for the perfect day. Do not wait for the perfect plan. Do not wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time will never come. The perfect time is the moment you decide it is. The perfect day is today. The perfect step is the one you take right now. Step forward. Step with purpose. Step with belief. Step even when it feels small, because small steps are the bricks that build empires. Step when you're tired. Step when you're afraid. Step because the life you dream of is not waiting for someone else. It's waiting for you. And when tomorrow comes, step again, and again, and again, because in the end, success is not found in the distance you dream of. It's in the steps you dare to take. And the only question left for you to answer is this: will you take yours today, or will you watch someone else take it for you?